Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are now tuned in to On the Spot podcast. I am your host, Welton Spotsville, and I don't know if y'all could tell, but just starting this video out, just seeing how my video is going to turn out in my head, I'm very excited. I'm excited about you guys, supporting me, interacting with this video, and just ready to take part in the journey of progression of this podcast. And I'm very excited about that, so thank you. So let me get into the spill of this this podcast, and what this video is going to all entail. It's going to first let you guys know who I am as the host, give you guys a little background of where I came from, what I do, what I did, and what we're looking to get out of this podcast. And that goes more so into the lines of what this podcast is going to be about, who I'm going to have on this podcast, what type of people I'm going to have on this podcast, and where this podcast can take us. All right, getting into it. Who is your host? Who is Welton? If we were to sum it up in a couple of words, I am very charismatic, very personable, very humble. Let's see, that's a little more than a few, but humble, just a very chill guy. Psych now. But I can't really say too much because then it's going to sound like I'm trying to boost my own head, boost my ego. But this is just what my friends tell me. This is what my family tells me. Very intelligent individual. I feel like I can relate to most people. Learn how to have a conversation, hold one, just be a part of interactions with different groups of people. And, being that I have a sports background as well, that adds to that. And to be honest, playing football, I never really wanted to play football for real. I always tell my friends, football was never my main sport. I always wanted to play basketball. I just so happened to be good at it. And, it took me further than, what basketball would have took me. So I thank God for the opportunities that he bestowed upon me, being able to play football at the next level. It's very rare. A lot of kids in high school, they don't get the opportunity to make it. Grades, getting in trouble, yada, 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 etc. But I was one of those, individuals that was able to showcase my talent on the next level, which was college. So coming in freshman year as a receiver to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, shout out Tar Heels. It was an amazing experience. I always fell in love. That was my first home. That was my first college. And, time to time I tend to miss it. But as we progress throughout, my collegiate career, being at Kennesaw State, being at Louisiana State University, go Tigers, by the way, go Tigers. But, I've learned that I love to travel, being that the teams take you to different states and you see different places, being in different states that you never thought you would have been in, it gives you a different perspective of it's bigger than yourself. So I always look at myself as, I always want to help somebody. I give more. I'm always trying to help out the person next to me and make sure they feel welcome. But, that's a little bit about Welton. And I just want you guys to know that you're getting the utmost respect from me. You're getting, hardworking, goal-driven individual. That's what you're going to get out of me as your guys' host on this podcast. Getting into why I started this podcast, for starters, I have to give the man upstairs his praises. I mean, this would never have happened, if I never had the vision that he gave me in the first place. It was like this vision popped up in my head, and all of a sudden, it gave me the name of the podcast. It gave me the details of what the podcast was going to be about, and also, where we can take this podcast. And I'm gonna get into that shortly. But you know, when you feel like the Lord is talking to you, it's like a feeling that covers your body. You can't really do anything but allow it to take over. I can only give those praises up to my God Himself. So that is where the idea of the podcast came from, and you know why I chose the name On the Spot. You know, I just felt like a play on words. I wanted to mean something more, but also be personal to me. So my last name is Spotsville, and so I said, you know what? We can do On the Spot with 2 T's. So just having these ideas flowing through your head, it gets to rolling. I'm jotting it down while it's rolling. So what we're going to be talking about on this podcast is what's going on in the sports world, what is going on in the entertainment industry, and you know, we're going to have exclusive interviews. We're going to have different athletes, different artists on this podcast, different influencers. You know, we're going to try and reach out to these people and try and get these guys' perspectives, insight, advice, all of this in their, you know, personal field of work. And I just feel like it could be a big community with you guys. So that is what the podcast is going to entail. You know, and when I say we're going to get people from the sports industry, entertainment industry as well, yes, we're going to do like music reviews, artist interviews, things like that. But also, when we're talking about sports side, that's where I'm more knowledgeable at. So everything I'm going to do is going to be well researched. It's not going to be just turn on the camera, you know, hook up the microphone and just talking to the mic. No, everything I do will be well researched. I will give you guys very educated opinions and, you know, things of such. But this video is just a little taste of what's to come on this podcast. So one thing I want you guys to do, I want you guys to interact with this video. I want you guys to give me feedback of what's the, like, hey, you know, great quality, this is great content, you know, can't wait, things like that. Or, man, hey, this is what you need to change. This is not looking too well. This is yada, yada, yada. I want the positive feedback. I want the constructive criticism. I want to get you guys' opinions on certain topics that we bring forward. And, you know, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm very excited. I want to, you know, be able to progress in, you know, just the skill set of doing this podcast. And I feel like that is the most exciting part about this, is learning a new skill, learning how to do this, learning how to talk to different people. It's all something that I feel like I can progress in as a person and as a host. I want you guys to go ahead and tap into the social medias that are posted in the description. Also, I just want you guys to stay informed, man. I want y'all to stay passionate, stay informed, stay excited, and remember that you're locked in on the Spot Podcast. I am your host, Welton Spotsville, and until next time, see you soon.